Hello.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. And it is my honor, my pleasure to have my friend Ann Gordon on today. She's a highly skilled intuitive tarot reader. She uses the pendulum. She has a whole toolbox of things that help confirm the answers in which she receives. So, without further ado, welcome, Ann. How are you today?
I'm well, Sandy. How are you?
Doing pretty good. A little windy around here, isn't it?
Just a little.
Just a little hairdo going on here. So, Miss Intuitive Friend, do tell us a little bit about you.
Well, like you said, I read cards. I intuitively use my pendulum. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, you don't really need any of those. I think what really, so many of us are so highly in tune. We just use tools because other people like us to.
Well, okay. So stemming off of that, so in the past, I would just tell people what I thought, and then they would say, "How do you know that?" And so I started to use cards to show them, "Oh, this is how I know it." So I'll tell them intuitively what I hear, and then the cards will spell out saying exactly what I just said.
Exactly.
So the cards are just a tool for my clients. For me, they're like, I'm just going to show you, this is what it's saying. And the pendulum also connects to spirit, higher above. So if someone has a loved one in spirit and they want to contact them, instead of giving me the answer and telling them, sometimes it's like, well, how do you know that? That could question again.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring the pendulum along and I call in the spirit, and the spirit will speak to the client. And then now they know. So does that make sense?
It totally makes sense because I know, like for me, I mean, and you and I are a lot alike with our intuitiveness. Is we just get the message. It's plain and simple. It's part of our daily thing. It's just what we do, and we don't like to have a lot of fluff stuff and frill when it comes to it. It's just what we do. But the average person that comes for a session or might not be as intuitive or familiar or is caught up in that monkey mind of having a lot of questions answered, right? And then they're questioning the answer they're getting. So they expect us to use other methods to help confirm what we already got in the first place in 2 seconds, just intuitively. And I do that with energy work, and you do that with the pendulum and the cards and whatever else that you need. And I do it too. If I have to confirm something, I'll grab the pendulum and, I can say, oh, your second chakra is, a little out of balance. So how do you know that? Well, I can feel, okay, well, let's get the pendulum so that you can visually see what I'm talking about. And then it'll do the same thing. And so once people learn to trust you a little bit, they don't have as many questions, but it's fun to have your toolbox.
Absolutely. Also with Reiki, it's all light energy work, and that's hard for people to understand. But once they feel the energy on their body, then they get it. Yes. If you tried to explain Reiki to an average person, which I did yesterday and it didn't go well, I said, when I see you, I'll just work on your shoulder and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I don't know, something about the hands, light, energy, intuition, spirit, everything guiding you.
Yeah. And
it all comes together.
Yes, it does. And we all have it innate in us. Just some use it every day or work on that skill because it is a skill that you work on to become a master of it. And like with Reiki, it's ancient symbols, and like intuitiveness, we are simply the conduit. It's our higher selves, our God source, our antenna that is helping to filter that information through us on what the client might need at the moment, whether it be symbols or which are all from the mystery school. So it's not like it's anything new.
What's funny is that a lot of people have their intuition, but they don't listen.
Yeah.
They think it's it's their monkey brain working. When I'm trying to explain to them, if the driver says to turn right and you turn left because your intuition said, no, don't go right, you have to go left to go home, and you turn right, you're going to end up into a little car accident or maybe there's an accident ahead of time and you just didn't know it, but your intuition was telling you left, 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 and you turn right.
Yes. Yeah. And I think once we do that once or twice, we learn to begin to listen. But I also think that's pre-programming, that everything's outside of you. Everything's
Right.
outside of you. And so we're really coming into, the space in the cosmos now where a lot of people's energy is changing to, I knew that. I kind of knew that. And so in having a session with you, Anne, it's one of those things where they can ask you questions and then you'll answer it. And it can be like, I knew that. I
Exactly.
kind of knew that. And it's like, that's your intuition. You just wanted confirmation because we humans are the only species that overrides all things, especially danger, danger, danger. We override it. Everything else in the universe rides with the intuition, rides with the God self messages. And they
Yep.
sense all the things. We cut off our sensories, keep ourselves in the monkey mind, overloaded. And
Yep.
then, and also too, as we know, and I'll speak for me, when I get caught up in things that I need to make a decision about and it's emotional, sometimes I can block my own answers because it's like, I need this right away. And I can get my nervous system going, my heart pounding, and I have to call someone like you or, hey,
Yes.
can I run this question? It's like, okay, I can stop calling you. I got that. Thank you. So it's confirmation over and over and over again.
When you push too hard, you're not going to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And the other answer is sometimes a client will ask me the same question, 3 different ways.
Sure.
And the answer comes out the same. And then they get upset.
Yes.
It's like, you asked 3 different ways. And the answer is still yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in
Or
some ways
no.
they're testing. They're like, okay, well, maybe I'll get a little different twist on this because people are set in their ways of what answer they want and how they want it.
Right.
And that's not what intuition is about. It's being able to bob, weave, pivot, and be adaptable to what is coming in. Because you might not see it right here in front of your face right now, but when you follow it, you're like, you can look back and go, yes, this is why I did that. This is why I listened to something Ann said or Sandy said or somebody said, or I'm now saying to myself.
Well, when you give a reading and you give a future reading, so you normally do past, present, future. The future is sometimes you can say 3 to 6 months, and it can happen tomorrow. So,
Sure.
Or it can happen 3 to 6 years. There's no time in the universe. So when it happens, it's divinely guided. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding that, divinely guided.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you can subconsciously change all of that in the interim as well, because things change, you change, but you can subconsciously sabotage what it is that you want or what the answer someone gave you. You can change it all around subconsciously and then blame the person for giving you the wrong information. That's a classic. But
I want to
it does happen, I know. So let's talk about you and all your beautiful intuition. And I feel like you have something so super and so unique. And Anne is she's a swim instructor, so she teaches the youngsters how to swim. Now someone might say, oh, that's just fundamental life skills of this movement and that movement, and it's not. And so tell a little bit about what makes what you do unique.
Okay, well, most of my clients come to me. They are fearful of the water. They're afraid to get their face wet. They're afraid to get their bodies wet. Any child that's hesitant to get in and walk in, and you can see them shaking and panicking. So I bring them into the pool and I talk to them and I listen to what they have to tell me. So that is when I'm at the pool. Prior to the pool, before I come, I sit down, I do a little meditation, and I do an energy clearing from the child. So I'll take, let's say child A is fearful of getting their face wet. So I will sit down, I will meditate, I will ask what happened to this child. Is it something that happened in this lifetime, in a past lifetime, Or is it nothing at all and it's coming on from the parents? Sometimes it's the parents who have the fear of the water, and the fear of the water is pushed onto the child.
Mhm.
Not knowing, they don't know, they don't realize that their anxiety is affecting their own child. They don't really see that. So beforehand, I will sit down and do my clearing. So I'll remove all negative energy from past lifetimes into this lifetime, and even the parent's energy. If I can figure out it's not the child, it's the parent. And then beforehand, I'll bring in loving light. I'll bubble them up in protection. I'll bring in confirmation and affirmations for them. So they tell me why they don't like their face wet. We talk about it. We say some affirmations, and before you know it, they're underwater. So, and they're smiling, and sometimes they're crying, but the parents come back because they saw me get them under the water, get them kicking. We play a little game. Sometimes the kids like to pretend to knock me over. It's very exciting because they're so strong and powerful. I, you know, I play little games with them to get them laughing and tell me about their dog or their cat while we're kicking, and we're singing songs. We're just sort of just trying to break the fear and bring in the love of the water.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I think that's so cool. And it's all referral based for you. It's not like you've got to advertise anything. It kind of happened that way. It was like boom, and then all of a sudden this person's calling you and this person's calling you, and
yes,
your book is always full because you have a unique way of working with these children. And just like if you were going to do a reading, let's say if I was to call you out of the blue and make an appointment with you, before that appointment, you're going to tune in. You're going to tune in to Sandy. You're going to tune into our guides, your guides, what's happening, and then begin the session, right? Well,
yes,
what a wonderful thing to do before you're about to give a swimming lesson, that you're taking the time to sit down and really tune in. And that's what I call sacred energy. I mean, you want the highest and the best for the child. And then at the same time, you want it for you too. So how do you guide that so you make it as graceful and as smooth, and you make it sort of a like love instead of that fear hate of being scared, so to speak, that a lot of children come in with. And you and I just recently experienced that when I happened to be in the vicinity of a swimming lesson you were doing. And that particular child was very attached to the fear of a parent who apparently didn't survive a water something in a previous life. And it was directly affecting the child because we're energy beings. We're not just this physical avatar. We have many energy, components to us. And children, especially, are attached to the strongest part of that DNA of a parent. So that was so in tune that you tuned into that. And you had him underwater like that. Even though he was shivering and moving around, you had that child, that client of yours, just woohoo,
It probably would have gone much better if the water was warmer. Something about the pool, the heat doesn't always work. So it's always a hit or a miss. But however, so that parent doesn't realize before she put her kid in the pool with me that her anxiety is building up, her heart's pounding, and this child's highly intuitive. He's picking up, so she hugs him, and all of her energy went all the way to him, even though I did all the clearings.
Sure.
And the parent, I know she has no ill will towards her child. I know she wants him to learn to swim, but she has to gather her energy and keep it to herself. Yeah. So next time I speak with her, we're going to work on that. So the child doesn't pick up and absorb all those emotions. I'm hoping to have a good lesson with this child today. So I'll let you know.
Awesome.
Let you know how it goes.
No, it was just happened to be that I was able to witness that. And it was like amazing, from what I observed before the water, what I observed in the water, and then what I observed after the water was like, holy cow. It was just amazing,
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I guess maybe if I want to go skydiving, I probably shouldn't call you. Maybe you could clear my energy. We'll go skydiving. I don't know. But I could just imagine doing these things on so many things that you would have fear levels with, because you have the ability to tune in, not just with the children for swimming, but in life in general and with clients in general.
What's interesting is that you bring this up. So my kids play sports. So before a big game, so my son plays football, I will bubble up every member of that team that's on the field before the game. And I usually know if they're going to win or lose. And I try and keep that to myself. But if I know they're going to win, which is rare, I will tell my son, guess what? You're going to win the game today. And he's like, it's so excited. Other times I don't say anything because I know he knows that if I say nothing, it's probably not going to go very well. So, but before his games, I bubble him up, like clear the energy of both sides. So there's no injuries or anyone, no kids fighting, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
I think it's important. I do it for both kids in their sports.
Oh, that's so awesome. And even though the other players or parents might not even know what you were doing, you're setting an energetic boundary there of the highest, for each person to enjoy and have no injuries, and all that comes from just, you taking the time to do that. Now, you told me a story about something recently, and I want you to tell, because it has to do with your intuition, and it started with some solicitors at the door at like 6 a.m. I mean, some bizarre situation where it's like, who is knocking on my door this early? And then all kinds of things started happening energetically. And go on and tell that story.
So prior to those people at the door, the night before, I had these weird images happening in my bedroom, and I was trying to pull it all together. And I got out of bed, I was having my coffee, and the doorbell rang, and I opened it up, and it was these teenagers. They're standing at my door, and I said, I think you're at the wrong house. And they said, no, we're here for you. And I said, okay, it's 6 a.m. And they said, oh no, we just want you to know that Jesus loves you. And I went, what? Okay. So as they walked down the stairs, I watched to see where they went, which direction they went, and they vanished. So I watched them at the door, walk down the stairs, and they vanished out of the way. And I was like, that's weird. And then I intuitively heard my phone was going to ring, and it was going to be a former boss, a boss that I work for. And she's not former, she's sorry. Anyways, I heard their phone ring, and I was like, oh, she's going to call. So I went into my room, and sure enough, she called. And she had a nanny caboclo. So I thought, okay, well, I'm available, so I'll come over and watch the kids. And in that day, I had I had the cleaners, I had the gardeners, I had all these people coming over to her house and doing all these things. After they had all left, the kids were doing, one wanted to bake a cake, the other one play video games, and I was saying, okay, well, the light was flickering and my car was parked in the garage. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go move the car just in case the power goes out. I want to be able to get out of the house if I have to. So I moved the car, I come up the stairs, and I instantly knew we had to leave. So I made, I had child A go get her purse and her shoes on and whatever she wanted to bring. And child B, who was having a meltdown, he was like, I am not going anywhere with you. I'm gonna go play my video games. And I said, we are leaving right now, go get your shoes on. And I was gonna call a friend. And as soon as I picked up my phone, I looked at it, and that friend had called me to see if this child B could come over and have a play date. And he said, I'm not going. And I said, yes, you are. Put on your shoes, we're going right now. So I said, just keep walking, go all the way down the steps, hop into my car, and I will go. So we were gone maybe an hour. Within that 20 minutes of that time frame, a tree had fallen and split the house in half. Exactly where all of my things were. So it cut the bedroom down to the kitchen, down to the basement, and into the garage. Yeah.
And you would not be telling the story if you had not paid attention to all of those signs
Yes.
and then overcame a grumpy teenager who did not want to leave the house.
Right.
And what were the parents' response? Like, I mean, they were probably freaked out.
Well, it's funny because they were both at work, and so child A, the mom called and said, "Hey, can you bring child A over to my job?" And I went, "That's kind of weird." We were at the mall, and I was like, that's kind of strange. Yeah, okay, sure. I'll bring her over to you. And where's child B? And I said, he's at a play date. And so I brought her over, and the next thing you know, the father called and said, "Don't bring my kids home." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, the tree just split the house in half." And I said, "It's okay, because they're not with me. One's at a play date and one's with your wife." And so after that, I mean, I could say that it took maybe a good year to regurgitate all that. And I was just telling the children's mom the other day, I said, if it weren't for you saying, "Hey, can you bring child A and B over to my job?" I mean, I said, your intuition was working. You knew something was off, but you didn't know what. And it all came together. And and she realized, she said, "If it wasn't for your intuition, we wouldn't all be here.
Yeah.
We would, the kids, you and the kids would be gone." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "But your intuition works. It's the first instinct that you can't figure out why. Why am I calling my daughter to come join me at work? I'm in a meeting and I'm asking the caregiver to pick up a book or pick up a game and bring her to my job. That would never happen.
Yeah.
I know this woman. That would never happen."
Yeah.
So she's very busy. And so therefore, and I thought, well, this is your intuition speaking. You are listening to it and you don't even know where it's coming from. And that's oftentimes what happens, is that we instantly know, "Oh my gosh, my kid's hurt," or "Something's wrong at school. I can't figure out what it is." And you turn on the news and there's an accident. So you just instantly know, and that's your intuition.
Yeah.
And
But with
trust
you,
it.
who's really in tune too, yours started the night before with some bizarre things happening to some events happening. So you were also on almost like a intuitive alert. And that's how I'll get it. If something's going on and I don't know what it is, I'll just say, okay, I'm aware of some hypersensitivity here. I'm supposed to be ready to jump or respond or react in some way in the next hour or two or three. Pay attention. And I'll be more on just breathing, but yet paying attention. And you were in that mode.
Yes.
You were in that mode because you could have easily have said to the mom, so-and-so wants to stay and play videos, and you're at work. Don't worry about it. I can hang here. But it was a combination of what you were sensing and then what the mom got, like, "Hey, bring my child to work. Why am I doing that? She never comes to work with me." So it's a combination of things leading into that. And that's beautiful. And it's beautiful that you can point out to her that that's your intuition working. So you're empowering her too.
Yes.
Instead of people looking at it, it's just a coincidence,
No coincidences.
Exactly.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, it does.
So and after the tree fell on the house, they moved to a rental, and then they built their dream house, and it's gorgeous.
Nice.
So they're very happy. Everyone's happy. And even the child A, she got a set of tarot cards for Christmas and was very interested in learning to use them. So at some point, I'm probably going to be sitting down with her and teaching her a little.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because you can do that with clients too. You can work with to teach them how to use the pendulum properly and how to do the cards and then how to tune into their intuition. So those are some of the services you offered. Of course, your email link will be in my description and everything else so people can contact you. So do we have time for just a couple questions? Some questions that came in?
Absolutely. Let me grab my cards.
Okay.
All right. What are the questions?
Okay. So the first question is, where are we globally? Like right now, where are we globally?
Are we globally? All right. Excuse me.
No, it's okay.
My clients know when my head starts itching, stuff comes in.
Yes.
And I'm getting itchy. All right. So where are we globally?
Yes. Where are we globally?
Right, so 2 cards. All right. this is the strength card. In the traditional tarot, this would be strength. Okay. He's half man, half lion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is all about being strong within. You know, every woman who's ever given birth to children, you know how awfully painful that is. And somehow we are managed to do that. We pull in inner strength and able to give birth. Now, this is same thing. We're in a difficult time. There's so many things happening right now. And right now we need to pull in our inner strength and just trust that everything's going to be okay. Get your lion, get yourself, and pull yourself together. Okay. It's all going to turn out okay. I have no worries about the world, not even what's happening on the other side. I think it's there's things happening that we're not aware of, and
Yes.
we just need to trust, and we're going to be fine. Okay.
Awesome.
Also, let me put one more with it, okay? Because two cards came out together. Now, this is all about the light, okay? This is the sun in the traditional tarot. That card is also, instead of feeling all the negativity and the anger, put light, love, energy towards what's happening. So put light, love, energy towards the truck drivers, put them towards Ukraine and Russia, put love towards China, you know, all these global places that we are hearing about in the news.
All the hot spots. Yes.
So don't be afraid and put in the love and light. It's going to be okay. All right.
All right, that's great.
Next one.
All right. Another question that came in was, what lessons must we learn?
All right, no problem. Okay. What lessons must we learn? There's two cards that come with it. Okay, so the first one is, this is all about spiritual strength. Okay. This is very emotional card. It's all a heart chakra. See the green right here? This is all about love and connection. It has a little yellow. It's about emotion. So love and emotion. And it has a little blue and purple. So the blue is all about speaking with kindness, love, and compassion. And the purple is all about your intuition. So this is a spirit card. Everyone needs to come together in spirit, to trust, to know everything's going to be okay. If we come together and put love towards the situation, and here's looking with it, it's just kind of interesting. They were not stuck together, but this is also about love,
Right.
putting out love and receiving love. Those are the lessons we must learn. Instead of barking at your neighbor, and give them love versus, and you know what, the worst argument, I was in an argument last week and I thought, you know, I should have just said, God bless you, or love and light, instead of barking at my neighbor, which conversation. But my new answer is, I'm going to give you love, love and light. And I'm going to close this argument with whomever, because there's a lot of heated stuff going on. Everyone just needs to take a chill pill, relax, breathe, and put out the love.
Yes, we need more breathing going on for sure, which leads to another question. What risk must we take?
What risks must we take? Okay. Well, what risks? So,
yes, what risks? It's an interesting question.
Must we take? All right. Well, this is an interesting card. The risk that we need to take is, I don't really think it's a risk, but we all really just need to be patient. Okay. Allow the energy to be filled with love and light. So instead of being anxious and angry and paying attention to the news, take a step back and look back, breathe, give it love and light. Do you remember the risks, what we just talked about, the power card and the light? Okay, these two cards are really important. You need to remember to have a little bit of patience, stand your ground. It's going to be okay. All right, just remember to breathe. It's not really a risk, but this is something that everyone needs to do. Stand your ground, be patient, and breathe.
Yeah.
All right. right. Can I add one more question in this?
Yeah, you can. And I have another one too, but go ahead.
Oh, what's your question?
It was, what instincts could we use?
To move forward. Okay, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
what
I'm gonna
instincts could we move? You're talking about risk, things can we,
okay.
we're intuition here.
All right. So the instincts to help us move forward. Okay. So first off, the two cards that came out is very strong cards. This is the justice card. Okay.
Okay.
The question was instincts to help move forward. Now, trust the process. This is justice. Truth is coming. This is a very important card. It has all the colors. It has the purple, the yellow. The purple is intuition, yellow is emotion, blue is throat chakra, red is grounding. It has all of these emotions built up in our body. You know when you're not grounded, you're yelling at people.
Mhm.
Trust the process. It's going to be okay. The truth is going to come out. And the next one is the instincts to help you move forward. Everything changes. Everyone's coming through a transformation time. Okay. Instincts to help you move forward. The strangest thing about transformation is, I'll give you an example. Okay. I hate spinach. I really hate spinach. I really don't. And for some reason, I'm enjoying spinach. That's really strange. It's like a transformation. My body decided that it doesn't want beef and chicken anymore. And beef and chicken kind of make me nauseous. So I've been eating more greens and vegetables and a little bit of tofu, a transformation. My body's going through a transformation.
Yeah.
Everyone's going through a transformation. You might not getting enough sleep. You might decide that you don't want to have any more alcohol or drink wine or there's a change in your taste buds. This is all about transformation. Your body changes. So the instincts to help you move forward. Remember, truth, justice is coming.
Yes.
And our bodies are transforming.
Mhm.
Okay. Did that answer your question or the question of the viewer?
And I think, hang on, I'm going to talk. I don't know if you can hear me okay, but.
What did you just say? I can hear you now.
So I think right now with everything so up in the air and all the unknowns, everything happening, there's a lot of disruption, not only in thoughts and in breath and things that are requiring patience. And I've noticed for my experiences just in the last couple of days is the electronics are insane. 1 second they're working fine, the next second they're completely out, shut down. Sometimes they'll boot back up, sometimes they won't. And it's been going on with me nonstop. And it's one of the, I would say, a trigger for me, not being able to get things going. It's the patience level. But I just have to go with the flow. And what you just brought in was the transformation, the breath. And then I realized that I was only shallow breathing. I needed to stop. And sometimes I'm gasping. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I wasn't even breathing. I was barely giving myself enough nostril breath to keep my head on straight. So we do need to freaking breathe, people.
Breathe. And we also need to remember that it's not a coincidence. Everything happens in divine timing. So
Yes.
Don't worry about it. Try not to worry. If you're not making enough money or your gas prices are too high and all that stuff, it's frustrating. I know. I do a lot of driving and I really understand where everyone's coming from.
Oh yeah.
Probably. But instead of worrying about it, you just surrender it to the universe. It's going to be okay. All of my needs have been met during this whole COVID. I barely worked and I was able to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Pay my bills, pay my
I get
rent.
it.
Instead of worrying about it, I just, okay, universe, I surrender. Tell me what I need to do. Show me the way. And somehow I paid. I paid all my bills and still had food on the table. So not to worry. It's going to all come together. It's going to be okay. Just remember to breathe and try not to yell at your neighbor if they annoy you.
Yeah, or yell at yourself. And I'm going to echo that because I too, as many of us, it's been an interesting last 2 years where income was very different, but yet bills have been paid and there was no reason to freak out and pull my hair out over it or stop breathing, for God's sake. But now what we're coupled with is the economic stuff. I mean, we're seeing gas double in 2 months. We're seeing the price of spinach go up like 4 times higher. So when you were paying like $2.50 for a tub of spinach, you're paying like $6 right now.
Yeah.
And chicken and things like that, that was normally like a pack of 4, organic might have been $5. It's now like $15. And I think what it's also showing us, and we can talk about this too, is it's bringing us back to center, to what's important. And I think that's part of that transformation card that you pulled, that priorities will find its way to the surface, and that will sustain you. And so many other things that we're doing are frivolous. And you might not have realized that it was frivolous. And you're not even looking at it as frivolous now. You're just looking at it as, I don't even miss those things I used to buy. I don't even go down that aisle anymore. I don't even have a taste bud for that food.
Right.
Kind of thing.
What's really interesting is if I could, on my last apartment, I had a porch full of vegetables. I had a garden. I loved it. My new porch, not so much. I don't have any sunlight. However, if you have sunlight, I want you to start growing your own food. You don't need seed to grow green onions, and you don't need seed to grow any onion. All you need to do is you buy an organic onion. You use what you use. You take the bottom, you put it in some water, and it will grow on its own. You have an organic onion growing in your backyard. You can do that with celery. You can do that with green onion. I mean, there's so many ideas. And just people need to step back, stop wasting the money at the grocery store, buy, local. Or
yes, support local, please.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's really important, because that'll keep it coming to your table versus the trucks that deliver it from elsewhere.
Right. And then where it came from. If they use pesticides or not. I'm actually allergic to a lot of foods, and it turned out that I was allergic to the pesticides.
Yeah.
Not knowing. So,
well, it's like people with honey. They don't understand that the honey has the antihistamines and the antimicrobial, antiviral, but it works for you specifically to the demographics of where you live. So if you go to the store and you're buying honey, you could be getting it from Timbuktu, and it has nothing in it that's going to protect you. It's just a sweetener. But if you're buying local honey, you're buying all the plants they've eaten and all the things, and then you start developing immunity to those things. So local is key, girl. And I'm glad you just said that, because it is important, and that we just take stock of what we're supporting and what we're purchasing and what we're placing in our bodies now, because our bodies are changing every day. Now, it took me a little bit of a delayed response. I'm not going to lie, because as much as I was getting repulsed by, cakes and pies, I was certainly buying them and trying different ones, thinking, oh, this one's going to be better. Oh, no, this one's going to be better. And oh, darn, I bought that. Now I have to eat it, all of it. Can't waste it. It's like, now it's like, please. And then I actually got tempted the other day in a store, and I was going to just get a half a pie. And it was $20.
Make your
own.
A
half. No, I just said, that's it. I don't need the pie. I don't need to make my own. No pie belongs on here anymore. I'm trying to get the pie off from last year, pie in my eye, because I could see it on my body. It's just not happening. Well, my friend, is there anything else that you would like to add? Because we are definitely going to be doing this more often, because we can ask questions. I can get them from our audience. We can post them. Your links will be in the description, and we can just kind of keep it going, for just some short things that just answer people's questions and hopefully leave them uplifted and more grounded and accepting of the fact that you might not be able to control what's going on over there, but you can certainly send it love.
I can send it love. Also, let's go back to the swimming thing.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know that if I cannot teach your child to swim and you are having trouble getting your child in the water and so forth, I can probably clear the energy to that.
Yeah, great session for people
So
to
if
have.
you don't live in my area, let's just say if you live, let's say Chicago, I can't get out to Chicago, but I can do my part on my end to clear whatever energy needs to be cleared for that child.
Yeah. And that, of course, we're talking about the Washington, D.C. area, because that's where I am and everybody knows it. And you're not
Okay.
far from me. So demographically, you can offer something to someone who's not in this postage stamp. That's awesome.
Yes.
And what a
Right.
great idea, because that's also going to help people tap into their own intuition as well, their own God antenna, which
Right.
is cool because we're all here to help each other step into that. That doesn't have, you don't have to, you can have to call it multidimensional quantum. It just take it for what it is. It's your antenna, it's your life force.
Yes.
And it's your innate way of processing information. And that is everybody's availability to be able to tap into that. You just have to stop doubting yourself. So sometimes having
Exactly.
sessions with you or sessions with me and beginning to trust yourself, I think is very helpful, because then you'll fly on your own.
Yes.
But
Don't worry about the answers you're getting. Just go with it. And if you get an intuition hit, write it down.
yeah,
Put down the question you had and the answer you got. You'll be more surprised that you are more right than wrong. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much. Why don't you go ahead and just give everyone your email, because I know that's the best way to get a hold of you, and what to put in the subject line for
Okay.
you so that you don't bypass the million emails that you get a day, because everybody wants to talk to you.
All right. Well, first for the subject line, if you want a reading, please put it in capital letters with your name on it. Reading, capital letters, and your name. And my email is agmaury@yahoo.com.
Awesome. That will be,
agmaury@yahoo.com.
yeah. And I'll put that in the description. I'll also make a memo note of capital letters with reading in there for subject line, because that way you can flag those emails. They don't get lost.
Yes.
And they're easier to pick out when they wind up in your junk box too.
Exactly.
I mean, one of the first things I do every morning is delete of so many emails that and unless somebody has something that it catches my eye or I've asked them to, I could easily delete them and not realize it.
Right.
So yeah,
And then you have to
capital
go back
letters in
on.
the subject line, reading, even if you have a question regarding, energy clearing, you still want to put reading there in capital letters, because then she'll know that that's an email that she needs to respond to. And we're going to do this again. So Anne,
Okay,
thank you
wonderful.
so very much. This has been awesome. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to say goodbye to everybody. So everybody have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the next Keeping It Spiritually Simple. Bye.
Bye.